We are live. We are also direct with Brigitta Dau, who is life coach, Reiki master, author, retreat facilitator, helping women clear the internal blocks and regulate their nervous system to feel safe to receive, to feel safe to go in the next level in terms of their relationships, work, career, all of the things. She is absolutely stunning. She allows women to grow without abandoning themselves in the process. She does it all one-to-one, group coaching, synergistic Saturdays, Sundays, remote Reiki groups, in-person and virtual workshops. Welcome to She Leads, She Sells, Brigitta in the building. Speak to me.
What a great intro. Thank you so much. I am really looking forward to being here and sharing a little bit more about what I do.
Amazing, 100%. Let me know who most benefits from your work. So is it a certain segment? It's like, hey, if that woman's, for example, professional, six figures, bang, she can take off most with my work.
Right. I love that. I'll tell you the ideal client, I guess, to say for me, the person who will really find the most value with the work I do is someone who is really willing to do the work. So someone like you just said, who's going to have to put in some work to make those kinds of numbers, would be a great fit for me. I'm not the easy button type of person. I'm just not that girl. I'm not the quick fix. You're not going to find that here. In fact, I would go so far as to say that that actually doesn't interest me very much. I am the person who will go deep. I want to know, what are we doing to get in our own way? Not only how can we kind of bypass it so much. I'm actually not interested in the bypassing. I'm interested in getting to know it, having a relationship with it, and if possible, and this is possible, having it come on board with you so you can actually turn those challenges that you have into wins. That does not have an easy button. That means you do the work, you dive deep, and you're just, and I gotta say, it's the most fun, because what that does is then it builds your self-trust. Because I think for women, that's an extra challenge that no one really modeled that for a lot of us. It's just trust yourself. Fight for yourself just because you should fight for yourself. Trust your intuition. Act on your own behalf. Those are things that we don't often see other women doing. So, and certainly our moms, and maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. That, it wasn't modeled for me. And so I kind of had to figure that out. And the more that I do this with women, what excites me is that I see them becoming very confident and empowered, and most importantly, trusting their intuition. So much so that I would say you trust that even more than necessarily your coaches or you really get to know, this is right for me. This is right for me. And I think that that's where true empowerment comes from.
I love that. Trust your intuition more than your coach. I love that. And by the way, I always like to connect with experts like yourself. There's a certain conviction and certainty in your voice that I can really trace, which is amazing to see. Visibility, we got to get visible. And you're doing all of the things, sister, offline, online, you're moving and shaking it. Let me know, what does your visibility menu look like? Do you do offline, online? Like, what gets you the results in terms of visibility?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because this is okay. So I do have a coach that I work with, and this is a conversation that we have all the time. By the way, if you're a coach, you should have a coach or someone who's supporting you. Not all the time, but if you're ready to level up, always get support around you. So that's number one. So I do. When I'm ready to level up, the first thing I do is I'm like, who can I get? Who's on my team? So that's number one. But then this conversation comes up all the time. And what I have found to be the most effective tool for me is not the most time effective, but it is in terms of me getting in front of the people and actually having them work with me across the screen, or come to a retreat, or download one of my programs, because that's just starting now. I'm just starting to get some programs out there that people can download. The best way is in person, or doing things like this, where you're actually talking to another human being. Yes, I'm on social media. I was all over it yesterday. My husband, I'm sure, was like, get off the phone. But it was my work. It's part of what I have to do. And although there's a place for it, I view my time as a resource. It's as valuable to me as any money that I throw at anything. So the time is important. And I have found, for example, I presented at a retreat earlier this year. It was in Colorado Springs. I had to get on a plane, fly there. So it cost me a little bit of money. I was not 100% reimbursed, but I was reimbursed a good amount. That's where I met the most people who will ultimately become clients. They're coming to my classes, and they're genuine connections. So for me, it's similar to Wayne Dyer. I remember Wayne Dyer when he bought his book back from whatever the publishing company was, and he went from local station to local station to local station to promote his book because it was that connection. And
Oh,
I think we have a very sophisticated civilization around us right now, and they can tell when they're
oh.
being lied to. And I think it's that. So for me, does that answer your question? It's like, yeah. I think that's what it needs to be, that genuine connection.
How many books have you written? 2 or 3 books? Or?
2 books. 2
2
books.
books,
And
yeah.
I think a book is an interesting thing too, because the book is actually the easiest entry point, right? You can just go on Amazon, download the book, and you can read it. You don't need to deal with me. You don't need to deal with anything, really. It arrives at your door and you're like, yay, look at that. It's magic. How did that happen? I have no idea, but it happens all the time. And when I order books, they just arrive. That's a whole process I don't understand, but I did write the book. I co-wrote it with my colleague. And so that's an easy, quote unquote, easy entry point for making a connection with people. And I do believe, though, you need to be available for that follow-up, because if your book did its job, in my case, if it landed and someone's thinking to themselves, wow, I really like these women, I'd like to know more about them. How do they get in touch? How can they work with us? How can they do this? What you and I are doing right now. How can they do more of this connection piece?
Brilliant. She leads, she sells. Now, in terms of with myself, I've made sales synonymous with energy. So there's 4 energies in my world. Fearful Fiona energy, that's they've not got the money. No. How dare I charge that? Serving Susie energy, which is, okay, that will be $10 for 1 year. Like really trying to, undercharge, Joyful Julie energy, that's aligned. The work is a carnival and she enjoys to charge and things like this. And Limitless Lara energy, where lack of money, lack of joint venture partners just does not exist, because there is limitless potential. There's no half empty or half full, always overflow.
Yeah.
What does sales mean to you?
Oh, I love that. I loved that last bit that you were talking about, because that to me is when you're in momentum or in flow, where what you're doing is feeding the energy, and it's this beautiful kind of cyclical energetic loop that you're in. And I do say, you can tell when your head hits the pillow at night and you're exhausted because you're depleted is one feeling. But if your head hits the pillow at night and you're exhausted because you've been working and you've been loving your day and now you just need to sleep and restore so you're ready for the next day, those are 2 very different feelings. And that's how you know if you're doing it right, in my opinion. It's also a privilege. It's a big privilege to be able to spend most of my day in that flow state. I know, I'm aware of that, and I've worked hard to be here. So that off the bat. But sales, I really see it as you're a problem solver.
Okay.
And I genuinely love seeing people get lit up. When I see someone figure it out, that moment, and I know you know what I'm talking about, it's like, bing, it's like their light changes. They become a lighter looking person, their features change. Then I get very excited because I just like being a part of that journey, quite frankly. I don't need to be the one that they say, oh, it's all because of Brigitta. I want to just be a part of that team because I do believe at the end of the day, we have a contribution to make to this planet to make it better. And so if everybody can do that, then we're going to have a beautiful world that we can live in. So it's coming from a selfish position. I want the best world possible. But I do see it as supporting people. And so having said that, though, I don't see us doing anybody any favors by not being reimbursed for our time, our energy, and our effort and our knowledge. So I do believe very, very strongly in having a part of my business that what I would call is servant leadership, where I am showing up as a leader. And I'm maybe not charging my highest rate. However, it is still serving. And I do believe because I'm serving at the higher level, then I actually end up getting my higher rate. And so that actually happens. And so I can see, and I have a spreadsheet of, I do the servant leadership here. I offer some free coaching, like on a podcast, for example. And guess what? They do buy the book. They come to a class. They come join my retreats. They do the thing. But it's not coming from, I'm selling something. It's coming from, I genuinely want to serve that higher purpose of the individual. So that therefore it takes sales out of it, because I think sales can have a dirty connotation to it. I know some people get really freaked out about it. And to me, it's much more about that. How can I contribute? So that does that answer your question? Kind of went on a tangent.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Answers the question pretty well. In terms of books, have you read this one?
I have read that one. I love that book. I love it.
It's a great go-to. It means a lot to me because that's how I was able to create my whiteboard methodology,
Mhm.
which really just leans into, rather than make a sales process scripted, or rather than simply speaking at someone or explaining, it's demonstrating. Because if you demonstrate,
Yeah.
there's no faster way to put your point across than to demonstrate that you can do it live, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so that's a 10x outcome, demonstrating rather than explaining or having a sales call script. So I
Yeah.
always turn back to that book. How about yourself? Any books that you are reading right now or have read recently that you can kind of give us an insight on?
Yeah, that one's great. The 10X is great. In fact, that's how I start with every client is how can we say no? What are we saying no to? I find that
Wow.
women are overextended. And again, your time and your energy is as valuable as your money.
Mm,
So, and because we all have different levels of energy and different levels of time, because some people have kids, some people have, a full-time job that they're juggling while they're starting to create this passion project. I do believe that saying no is the first step, which sounds really counterintuitive but it's right from that book, and I gotta tell you, it changed my life. I was like, what can I get rid of? So we spend some time on that. I love 10X is better than 2X or easier than 2X. The other one I really loved is Likeable Badass. I think for women, it's really important to learn this game because we have a different set of rules that we have to live by, because we do live in a patriarchal system. And therefore, when we are working our way up in our lives, be that corporate or be that in the private sector, there learning the nuances is imperative. You can be the best at your job and not learn and not read the room properly and get in your own way without even knowing you're doing it. So I loved that book. Likeable Badass, I think, is a must read for any woman who is wanting to make more money and and also personal growth. I've grown from it as a person. Even I will say that even in my friendships and having difficult conversations and setting boundaries and those sorts of things, but Likeable Badass has helped me do that for personal friends as well as, of course, my business. It's helped me in many. Once I got the basics of the 10X down, then I was Likeable Badass kicked in, and I was like, "Woo, here we go." So I really loved that. Um, Other books, this is going to sound like it's out of left field, but I would say this has helped me tremendously. These two books kind of go together. The Four Agreements and Byron Katie's book. Anything
the
about Byron
works.
Katie. Can't remember the name of her book, but
The
her
works. The
yeah,
works. That one. Oh,
Byron Katie's book, I think Loving What
oh,
Is.
okay.
Yeah, Loving
Yeah.
What Is and the Four Agreements. The reason is, I know those sound kind of like, what have those got to do with work? Everything, because they've got to do with humanity and reality. And if you can stop telling yourself stories about, the stories we tell ourselves can get in our way. Those are your internal blocks. And if you start tuning into what's the BS that I'm feeding myself on a daily basis that I'm believing to be true, and if you can take a good hard look at that and be genuine with it. And again, like I said, be curious about it, be open to why is it there? How is it helping me? If you can start a relationship with those false beliefs, then you can transform them. And guess what? Then you're acting on all cylinders. So those are the books that I would do, both the business side and also the personal side, because you can business all day long, but if your personal life isn't, if your mind isn't on board, you're gonna burn out. You're gonna hit the pillow exhausted at the end of the night.
Nice. Likeable badass. Yeah, it seems like a good. Would it be suitable for a man to read as well? If would I gain some insights from it?
I think you would, because what it will teach you or what you might glean from it is how the difficulty and also the importance of bringing everybody up. If there's someone who's leveling up and who will support whatever you're working on, be it a business project or be it even a nonprofit organization that you're creating, it really shouldn't matter, man, woman, white, black, who cares? It shouldn't matter. But there are nuances that every single person has to overcome. And the more we learn about human beings, then the more we can really support them. Because ultimately, when you bring more great people with you as you are progressing in life, you are going to be more powerful. All of you will be more powerful. You will be more effective. So I do believe that anytime you can learn more about humanity, it's a good thing.
Thank you. How would you like to be remembered on Earth?
I think the top values I have are I'm always someone who people can count on. I'm very congruent. I'm authentic. So when people see me, you get the same person. I think if people were at a party and they're like, "Oh, let's talk smack about Brigitta." Okay, they're all going to say the same thing, which I like. Now, you don't have to live like that. A lot of people live very differently than that. But to me, I kind of like that I'm the same person who shows up everywhere I go. I also would like to be remembered as the person who made people smile.
Wow.
Humor is a huge deal to me. And I know that I have people who have me on their list to simply go to laugh. They're like, I'm having that day. How are you? And I know, at the end of our conversation, both of us are laughing. And afterwards, I'll think to myself, they called me because they were having a crap day and they wanted to laugh. And you know what? That's okay with me because to me, humor is healing energy, truly. And so I think that would not be a terrible way to be remembered. Definitely, I'd take that one for sure.
I like energy. I like your energy.
Thank you.
Energy doesn't lie, does it?
No, no,
Doesn't lie.
doesn't lie. Our intuition can pick up on it right away. I wrote about that in our recent book, Landing on a North Star, where we talk about energy and you can tell the difference between well, let's talk about something that's interesting to me is charismatic energy, like people who are charismatic. They're not necessarily good looking. They could be. They're not necessarily sexy. They could be. They could be really smart and bookish, but there's something about them that's charismatic. That's just energy. And
Okay.
I believe that's because they're focused on what's more important to them than anyone's opinions. They don't care about that. They are doing their thing. They are empowered. They are moving in the direction they want to go in. And that is always exciting to people.
Yeah, and I think it's particularly exciting, 15th of June 2026, where, people are being quite the opposite of charismatic by trying to be automated, trying to be more efficient, trying to outsource everything, outsource their thinking, and things. And yes, there is artificial intelligence, but what I think is 20 times more important is divine intelligence and intuitive intelligence. And I think people are tapping more and more away from that to let Claude handle it, let Chat handle it, let Gemini handle it. But I
Yeah.
think the answers are definitely within.
Yeah, I think 100%. I couldn't disagree more. I think that chat and all of those, Claude and all the things, they're definitely helpful in terms of time
They are
management.
helpful, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's all it is. It's a time management tool. And as long as you can
Yeah.
remember that, then it can be incredibly helpful. But at the end of the day, still, are you connecting with other human beings? Because if you aren't, then it doesn't matter how great your writing is, quite frankly. Are people connecting to it?
Amazing. Let them know, Brigitta, how they can get in contact with you
Yes.
and who specifically you're looking to serve.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, speaking of AI, I do have a website. That's probably the easiest way to get in touch with me. My name, BrigittaDau.com. And pretty much I'm everywhere else. Brigitta Dau Coaching is my handle for Instagram and Facebook and all those other LinkedIn, all those places. Hey, we met over LinkedIn, right? So there you go. Meeting over the socials.
Amazing.
So there's a place for it. And I'm very easy. I'm very approachable. I pride myself on that, because I love to talk to people. So if you want to set up a call, I'm available. We'll see what I offer, how it can work best for you. And again, the people I will serve best are those people who are kind of sick of doing the same thing over and over again, the banging the head against a wall. So they know a little bit about progress. They know a little bit about inner work, but they're ready to do the work. They're ready to think outside the box. They're ready to take those risks and they're willing to be supported and they're coachable. Those are the people who I'm really excited to work with. And I do work with men as well. I don't just work with women.
Oh,
And so if
that's
you're
a
interested, come give me a call or come send me an email. Sign up for my free newsletter. That's another way to get in touch with me, just to get a sense of me. Comes out once a week or 2 weeks sometimes. I don't spam people. So
amazing.
thank
Brigitta,
you.
thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. I've
Listen,
really
she
enjoyed
leaves
this.
Amazing. God bless you. God bless the United States of America, and good luck in the soccer. Bring
Yeah,
that
we need
home.
it. We need it.
Let's go. Let's go.